iGo Ladies Lounge Health and Wellness Show.
Hello and welcome back to the Ladies Lounge podcast. This is the show where we help women live their healthiest, happiest, and most fulfilled lives. I'm your host, Chido, together with my co-host, Praise, and we're going to get into this journey of self-discovery and growth. Today's episode is all about setting new goals.
December.
So I hope you're listening at the start of the new year, but if you're not, I hope it's a new season for you, or just in a moment in your life where you're ready to begin again, to start afresh. This episode is definitely for you. So let's be real for a second, Praise. Setting goals, yes, is exciting, but it's also very overwhelming. I know for a fact because I started, doing these New Year's resolutions. I don't know way back when. I'm still doing it, but by the end of the year, I'm like, what exactly did I do with these goals? So maybe you've set goals in the past and you've struggled to achieve them, or maybe you feel like life gets in the way, no matter how hard you try. Trust me, you're not alone. We've been there as well. But here's the good news. Today, we're going to talk about setting goals. We're also going to walk through how to create a meaningful and achievable goal that will stick. So we're hoping by the end of this episode, you'll have a clear action plan to move forward with confidence. All right, grab your cup of tea. I don't know, coffee for those who like coffee. Grab your notebook, settle in wherever you are. Let's dive into setting new goals. Okay, Praise, why is goal setting important?
Hi, Chido, and thank you for the question. Tricky one, because we always try and do this thing, and every single time we're like, nah, I'll go back to it, So I think for starters, we need to just have a picture. You want to go somewhere. Okay, I just walk in. Chido, let's go.
No, but where are we going?
Exactly. You have to ask, where exactly are we going? Oh, and different from me. If Chido says, let's go, I'm like, okay. And then on the way I say, so where are we going?
Well, you're a risk taker, I suppose.
So we have two types of people here. Okay, but today we're going to talk about the people who have that vision to say, you know what, I'm going to get there, and then they lay out how they're going to get there. All right. So we have already covered why it is important to cover goals, so that you have direction.
Here are some numbers for you that you can work with. 83% of the population does not set goals. Did you know this?
I didn't. I thought everybody did.
Not everybody. According to the goal setting research, of the 17% that actually does set goals, only 3% of those write these goals down.
From 100%,
83 does not. And then the 17%, only 3 write down.
Wow.
Which means the rest are just, I've got a goal, but
I'm not going to say where I stand. Nope.
Okay, we'll leave it there. But it's important, like you're saying, goals give us direction, right? You can't just be in a place, just going with the flow. You don't have a vision. It's easy to just drift, and then at the end of it, you feel stuck. You feel like you haven't fulfilled anything simply because you're not setting goals.
Well, then comes motivation.
Okay.
Yeah. If you know what you're targeting, it's easy for you to have the drive to get there,
Definitely.
If you're drifting, it's like, I'll get there.
True.
Yeah, wherever that is. So it's important to set goals so that you have motivation and you can measure your progress. I want to get to C, but I have to go through A and B. So you are able to measure, have I reached A yet? Have I reached B? Oh, I'm at C, hooray! And then you celebrate. Remember, rewarding yourself. So at the end of the day, it's important, and then you're accountable. Accountability is important.
Yeah.
And how many people want to account for their lives?
Yeah.
So it's important to be accountable, to say, okay, fine, have I reached it? Have I held it yet? And you are then able to improve performance.
Yeah.
I didn't get there, but you know, I'm just lacking a little 5%. You work on the 5%, so you've improved yourself in the performance. And then personal growth.
Yeah. That's true. That's very
yes,
true.
we need to grow, guys. We need to grow.
We definitely need to.
I'm not going to add the up part. Yes.
Okay, we're gonna take a short break and get into more about goal setting today. It's a lovely episode that I think we're all gonna get some insight on. Feel free to email us on iGo at cmas.co.zw, DM us on Facebook, on Instagram, on our CMAS iGo Facebook and Instagram pages. If you have any questions, if you have any topics that you'd like us to talk about. We're back with the Ladies Lounge podcast. Today's episode, we're talking about goal setting and why it's so important and why you need to get out your journal, your notebook, your whatever, or your iPad and write down some goals that you want to see come to fruition. So we're going to talk a little bit about reflecting on the past. It's really important, and I think, Praise, you'll agree with me, to understand where you've been so that when you're setting goals now, you can decide where you want to go.
That's very true, but we are not going to be doing the weepy, cushy
No. We're not victims, obviously.
No. What we're targeting is so that we reflect, get the sense of what has been happening. It gives you then the ability to focus on what you're then going to target. So no tissues required. Let's check what has happened in the past.
What have I done before?
Exactly.
Okay.
That way you can then correct and self-improve and hit the goal.
So that's also about acknowledging your achievements, isn't it? And the lessons that you've learned from previous goals. You definitely need to celebrate the wins. Obviously, listen, you set 25 goals at the beginning of this year, and then going into another year, you've gotten only one right. It's okay. You've actually done something. Celebrate it. That's an achievement, right? And then you can then take lessons from why didn't I get the other ones right? And then you can move on.
That's true.
Okay, we're going to talk about the types of goals. What are the types of goals? Because yes, I can set like I want to have a Bugatti. I know I'm always talking about Ferraris and Bugattis.
That.
I don't know why.
Don't worry.
I want to buy one, and I want to build my house. I want to be in a relationship. All those things, but there has to be some sort of timelines, doesn't there?
Very good goals and very good point. We do need timelines. So on timelines, we have to understand we have got those short-term goals and then the long-term goals. Okay. So with the short-term, they've got a short lifespan of achievement. Say, you know what, in today, I'm going to organize my day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm supposed to have called all my clients. I'm supposed to have accomplished 1, 2, 3. Short term. And then the Bugatti comes into play, where you're like, you know what? If I work my year out and save up, I'm going to buy my Bugatti at the end of the year. So we need to understand that with goals, we are always setting goals. Every day, if you're planning your day, that's setting a goal for the day. And then the long-term ones, it's after a period, more than 6 months usually, up to 12 months or beyond. Then we're talking of long-term goals.
Oh, so is this what we're talking about because I've heard like you go for counseling and then they'll be like, when you're going on a date, you must ask your prospective partner, what are your short-term goals? What are your long-term goals? So when we're talking about long-term, you're saying a whole year. Someone must tell me what they want to achieve in a year.
Yeah, probably. Probably. It's a trick, muddy ground there. Very muddy. But I would encourage that whether it's a date, whether it's work, let's just have goals and let's learn that boundary. Say, you know what, this is my goal, I'm going to get it.
Okay. All right. And then obviously it's important to know that you've got types of goals like personal goals, professional goals, health-wise. I know we're always talking about, this year I'm gonna, get into the gym, do things and eat well and etc. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, and I'm so happy to share with you ladies that in our department, we decided to go for the wellness. What is it? Lunch.
It's a goal. Yes,
yeah,
lunch
it's
hour.
a goal. Lunch hour workout.
Yeah, it is.
Where every lunch hour we just have to get down to it. And right now we are very sore from it. But anyway,
I can't tell you. So that's very, very important. What financial goals do you have? What relationship goals you have? It's important to put them into categories and know which one you prioritize, know how to balance them so that you have a holistic sort of perspective when it comes to goal setting. So, how exactly do I set a goal? That's what we're now getting into.
Now we're getting into the difficult stuff.
Because we want people, that's why they took out their notebooks. Today, someone must set at least a short-term or a long-term goal. I don't know which one it is, but it's going to be very practical. Right. So we use the SMART framework, obviously. I feel like it's the easiest. There's so many methods to do this, but I feel like this is the easiest and most relatable of all the goal setting frameworks that you can use. So the SMART framework is basically, the S stands for specific, which means you need to define your goal clearly. Don't just say, I want to have money. You need to be clear about, with the when and the where and the etc, right? And then the M stands for measurable. We have to be able to measure your progress. Like, how are you tracking your progress? So if you've said your goal clearly, probably I want to make like $5,000 in 3 months. That's a specific goal, right? How do you measure it? How are you tracking progress? Are you saving a particular amount per month or what? You must be able to measure it, right?
That's true.
Is it attainable? That's the A. Is it realistic? And I know Praise will want to talk something about this. I know I always say the Bugatti or the Ferrari and they tell me it's not realistic. Yes, but okay, maybe explain a little bit about that.
And do you want me to go personal where I'm like, how much do you earn?
Yeah.
And how much are your side hustles getting you? And then if we are then to say at the end of the year, will you be able to have saved up to it? Then it becomes unrealistic.
Okay.
But if you tell me that, my pocket is full, like I have a fat pocket, I'm like, yeah, it's achievable.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. So that's on the attainable part. It has to be realistic. Be real with yourself, ladies. Yes, we have faith. Yes, we know we can do anything. We're super women and all of that. But be very realistic when you're setting your goals. And also, the R stands for relevant. Does it align with your priorities? Does it align with your values as a person? Does it align with your beliefs?
Well, those days it's a hustle, baby. We have to get this money.
Yeah, but does it align?
I think.
Are you just gonna do like anything and everything to get the money?
That's a very tricky question.
Exactly. Exactly. That's for you to think about out there whilst you're listening. Are you being relevant? Are you aligning it with your priorities, your values, and your beliefs? And the last one is the T for time bound. It has to have a deadline. You can't just have an open goal like, I want to be in a relationship. Like, by when? It has to be time bound.
Really? Is it possible?
I don't know, but like that was what came into my mind. It can be any other goal, but it has to definitely be time bound. Have deadlines so that you can be accountable to yourself.
All right. Can I just add a little bit with the acronym SO? I just learned about it, so I'm excited.
Okay.
Where it stands for S, specific. O, observable.
Okay.
you understandable
Mm-hmm.
and are relevant.
Okay.
So it's just like the one you just gave us. It's just that it's just
A
giving
little
in
shorter. Yeah.
shorter words, and makes it easy for the mind.
That's another way to go about it. Yeah. So what are some of the barriers when it comes to setting goals? I know there's a lot of them. I know, the new year starts and you're so pumped up, and then all of a sudden, what happens? What are the barriers?
Do you want me to call you a name?
I don't know.
That's the first one. Like name calling, the fear of being called that woman. I'm not going to say the actual word, but that woman.
Okay.
Fear. That's one main challenge that we face. We have the goal, but we're just afraid. What will people say?
Okay.
As if we're living for people. I don't know. And then procrastination. Woman.
Of course, I'll do it next week. I'll do it next month. I'll do it next year. All of those things. I don't know why we procrastinate. I think there's an element of laziness, and I also think there's an element of life happens. But I think definitely we need to look into what better ways can we deal with procrastination when it comes to goal setting.
That's very true.
Another one is definitely a lack of resources. But I mean, I'll just keep talking about my Bugatti, obviously. Yes, I want it. It's a goal. But, are my resources aligned to that? Like, if I were to add up all of my little cents and fast for the whole year, would I still get a Bugatti? So,
tricky.
Yeah. So, in order to overcome these barriers, what can we do?
It starts with your mind. What's on your mind? Can you get it?
Okay.
Go get it mind.
All right.
That's the first start. So it's important that we tune our minds to say, you know what, I've set this and I want to get it.
I can do it.
Yes.
Just do it. Nike.
Just do it. Start one day, one step at a time. And then if you start, you then realize you've walked a mile, and from the mile you've walked the whole earth, I think.
Something like that. Something like that.
Yeah.
It's also important to be accountable, right? So you need an accountability partner. Have someone who keeps you accountable, who asks you about your deadlines, etc. Maybe just to make this a bit practical, we're just going to do an action plan right now on setting a goal.
Yeah.
Yes, so mine, because I guess Praise will be my accountability partner. My SMART goal is to get my driver's license. Please don't judge me. Yes, I know I'm old and all of that. But hey, we're doing it this year because I've been procrastinating, right? So I've defined my goal to get my driver's license by no later than, I don't know, the next year. Right?
Hold it there, woman. Hold it.
Okay.
We said we need to have timelines.
All right.
Yes.
To
specific.
get my driver's license in the next 3 months. How is that? All right. It's memeasurable.
All right.
We have 3 months, right? And it's realistic.
Yes,
I can do it in 3 months.
Yes, it is.
It's relevant. I need a driver's license before I get the Bugatti.
Okay. Yes. Very
So that's it's time bound. We've already set a deadline, right? We've already done that. So what are we going to do? Praise is going to be my accountability partner. She will ask me every week or
Thank you
two.
for the responsibility. I hope you're going to love me for this one.
Every week or two. And then we're going to write this down, because apparently the 3% that actually write down their goals always make them, right? So that's great. So we're going to write it down, and then we're going to celebrate each milestone. When I get my provisional license, when I start going to my lessons, when I finish them, and then when I go for the last test. We're going to do that. Right. That's how you set a goal, ladies. I hope you've been doing some sort of goal setting. Whatever little area from this exercise, please take like 5 minutes, 10 minutes out to set a goal. Right? That was us showing you what a SMART goal looks like. Okay. So we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back and wrap this up. All right, your host Chido here and my co-host Praise. We are at the Ladies Lounge podcast. We are going through an episode called Setting New Goals. I think this is really, really important for women to get down into the nitties and gritties of these things so that we can have achievable goals. And at the end of another year, another new season, you can just go out and celebrate because you've got most of your goals down. So, what do I need to make sure that I succeed in setting my goals, Praise?
Firstly, especially in our economy, in our country, things don't always go our way.
Yeah.
So we need to be able to embrace flexibility. Not to let go of the goal, but instead of it going straight, it's okay, it takes the longer route.
Okay.
You meander around until you get to the goal. So it's okay if you don't get it immediately, find another way to get it. And also be able to adapt. Adaptability. There are some times when you hit a wall and you mop around. Is that going to help achieve the goal? No,
not really.
But you then sit back, say, okay, what other way can I get it? That's the mindset of a winner.
Wow.
Mindset shifting. So that you get to your goal no matter what you face. And then we need to turn setbacks into opportunities for growth. I met a barrier, but can my barrier be my platform to go ahead, or I'm going to let it hinder me to achieve my growth from achieving my goal?
Okay.
So we need to understand that, yes, sometimes we meet barricades, but we can actually use them as propellers. We can use them to achieve our goal.
That's deep.
So it's important for us to take note of that and then start seeing your success as it comes, Start seeing yourself achieving the goal.
Yeah.
That way it keeps you motivated. You stay focused and you focus on the why. Why do you want to get the Bugatti?
No, why do I want a license? Because I want the Bugatti. Why do I want a Bugatti? Because I want to get to where I'm going fast.
Okay. Goals. That's how different goals come. Exactly. She wants to get there faster. So it's important for us to focus on why. The moment why rings, it already tunes you up. Oh, so that's part of mindset shifts for success.
Wonderful points. Yeah, I know we've been going like 30, 40, 50 kilometers an hour with this topic, but we hope you've gotten some notes down and you've at least gotten down one smart goal that you will want to see come to fruition. Because we want this to be a two-way conversation, well, three-way because we're already two in here. We would love to hear from you, okay? So leave your comment in the comment section. Send us a DM. Send us an email on igo@simas.co.zw. As you listen, think about your goals. What is resonating with you? Share your thoughts with us on our social media or email. We might just feature your story in an upcoming episode. We want to hear your victory stories. We want to hear about your wins. And this is just a closing thought as we close. A goal without a plan is just a wish. Start small, stay consistent, and never underestimate the power of progress. Take that with you and see you next time.
Cheers.
iGo Ladies Lounge Health and Wellness Show.